Hey everyone, this is Keith Scott from out in Sydney, Australia. I'm one of the voices of Bullwinkle J. Moose. It's time to watch Relentless and Unstoppable. And so give it up for your main hosts, Douglas Kenny and Andy McPhee.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny and welcome to Relentless and Unstoppable. We have another amazing guest coming on the channel today, so please hit like and subscribe. And after this episode, please stay tuned to the RNU channel for more amazing guests. Let's get this on!
Hey everybody, how you doing? Just a quick little share of why I started Relentless and Unstoppable. It was for one very simple reason, because of Doug Kenny. Nothing to do with me at all, zero. I was just coaching Doug, and he took on the coaching and mentoring, and he made all the changes. He took all the suggestions from his parents as well as my coaching, but it was all about Doug, his breakthrough and his weight loss, his willingness to accept that he is dealing with high functioning autism and other issues, but he's never quit, he's never given up. So we did one interview with him to share his story, and then we decided to start interviewing other people. And Doug has now taken over the whole channel, and he does all the interviews, he runs everything. He's just an amazing young man. So RNU was born from simply what an amazing young man Doug is, and his story needed to be shared.
That's amazing. Imagination is part of anything that you can create. That's the thing, you know?
Exactly.
Do you have any actors or actresses from Australia that you look up to, like Cate Blanchett, Nicole Kidman, Jeffrey Rush, or anything?
I do. I really look up to Teresa Palmer. Have you? Yeah, she is incredible. I would love to meet her. Hey, Teresa. She's South Australian, and her career is absolutely incredible, and I just look up to her in every aspect. Sam Reed, I look up to him as an artist so much. The characters he creates. At the moment, I'm watching Interview the Vampire season 2, and his Lestat is mwah. It's incredible. And also, there was someone else that I was thinking of. Oh, Rose Byrne. 100%. I get that a lot told to me, that I have a very similar essence to my acting style, which is Rose Byrne, because I love to. She does beautiful drama, but she does incredible comedy, and that's what I love to do as well. So, look, if anyone compliments me and says that I'm similar to Rose Byrne, then I will take it.
I would agree with that. You are similar to Rose Byrne.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. So I look up to those three in particular.
Yeah, for sure. What are your favorite movies that have impacted how you act?
Oh my goodness. Do you know this is gonna I'm an 80s child.
You're a what?
I'm an 80s kid. So I grew up with all 80s, E.T., all of that, the Goonies. Look,
yeah.
I don't know if they've impacted my acting style, but I grew up with that kind of sensibility of anything is possible, and the whimsical nature of all those, and it just exploded my mind, Never Ending Story, all of that. So Labyrinth. So I grew up with lots of movies with puppets as well. And so, but in terms of acting style, I'm massive into movies that are made very quickly. I get very intrigued by, say, Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko was made on a budget, and it was made very quickly. And Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh yeah.
So good. And that was made in 30 days. So it's just, and I love those kind of the idea of making a film very quickly, but it ends up being this beautiful masterpiece. So yeah, that's what inspires me the most.
That's incredible. Yeah, if you ever come to America, come to Oregon. I've actually seen two places where the Goonies was filmed, including the house and the Cannon Beach Rock where the ship goes sailing at the end.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot of good things out in America that are really, really good. You should check them out one day. Like if you go to Yellowstone National Park, it's almost like you're back in prehistoric times.
I've always wanted to go there. I lived in Vancouver for 2.5 years back in 2016, and we came down into Seattle and also Portland, and traveled around there and we did our own little guided tour of Kurt Cobain, and all that. But I would absolutely love to, do Yellowstone and definitely the Goonies, do a little Goonies trail. And yeah, I'm heading back to Vancouver this year in July for my best friend's wedding, which I'm very excited about. And look, if I can just come down, nip across the border, I will.
You definitely should. So, what's your favorite role you've gotten into so far, and based on your personality or just what you like about it?
Ooh. It was really interesting playing. My character's name was Lucky in Sonny's Mansion, which is the Sri Lankan horror. And that was a really hard role for me because, as you can tell, I like to laugh probably every 2 seconds. And so Lucky had gone through torment. And so she did not have capacity to laugh. And so that was one of the hardest roles for me, going into that headspace of her and having to settle into her. And so whenever I came back on the weekends, back to my cat and my partner, I was like, I just need to do nothing. And I just need to, try and find my joy again. Because, yeah, she really was taking a toll on me as well. At one point, because I work on the way I work is I do a lot of backstory. I do a lot of music. I find what the character's music would be. And and I remember one time we were filming and we'd finished filming and I wouldn't get out of bed. And all the other actors were heading to the pub and they're like, come on, Lara, like we're going to the pub. And I was like, no, I can't move. Like I can't get out. Like, I couldn't get out of bed. And so I was like, no, you go have fun. And I know now that she was just, I find it interesting, Heath Ledger, another person I look up to, in terms of their incredible career and, what toll it took on him in the end as well, for the Joker, and his other role that he was doing. But I can see how it would be that way. But look, I'm not complaining. I loved every experience of it, but it's just finding that fine line between the character and then yourself, being able to remove yourself when you know you have to and go, no, I need to go have fun or, shake it off somehow. Dance to Taylor.
I was just about to tell a Taylor Swift joke when you said that. Do you want to hear a good joke I know?
I would love to.
Why did the gym shut down? It just didn't work out.
Hey, that's good. But yeah, so characters that I gravitate, I just did one where I wore a wig and I thought, you know what, I'm going to wear a wig for this to really like transform who I am. And strangely enough, the wig came with its own name and it was called Greg. So I feel like, so it was so good. So Greg, the wig, I feel like should be in the credits of that film. So things like that, I just love thinking outside the box for roles and, and creating really fun, little idiosyncrasies.
You like thinking outside the wig box in that case.
Yeah. I wish I had Greg here so I could show you Greg right now.
Yeah, I would love to meet this Greg person. He sounds like a very fuzzy person.
He is. And you know what's really interesting about Greg is that he transforms anyone who wears him. And and so it's really interesting. So I turn into a middle-aged woman and straight up, and then someone will put it on and become like a little bit what we reference as bogan in Australia. So it's like, hey, you know, on someone else. So yeah. Look, if I ever do meet you in December or January, I'll bring Greg and we'll see what he transforms you into.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I do plan to get out to Australia eventually. I'm hoping this year, but if not, I'm just gonna have to save the money for it over time until I can afford
Yeah.
it.
And we're not going anywhere, so we'll be here.
No, nope, Australia isn't going anywhere for probably another 3 billion years when continental drift, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, so in regards to yeah, what I'm up to as well, I'm just doing everything I can until leading up to my friend's wedding. That's very important, and I just can't wait to get back to Vancouver as well because it meant so much to me. Yeah, my partner had wanted. I've been with him for 17, coming up to 18 years this year, which is crazy. Um, he's like an old pillow. And so
Old
we've
wig, maybe?
sorry.
An old wig,
Oh
maybe?
yes, an old wig, yes. And so where he'd been wanting to go because he was a snowboarder and he was just like, I want to go, you know. And I was like, no, I'm really doing well. You know, I'd just done a feature film here and, you know, I was getting momentum with my agent. And then one day I woke up and I was like, we should do it. We should go. And so he's like, what do you mean? Like, I've been asking for years. So anyway, so we ended up applying and getting in. But we could only stay for 2 years because they changed the rules because you could renew back in the day and do another 2 years if you renewed your visa. But they'd taken that out. So we could only have 2 years. But as I said earlier, we were there for 2.5 because I stayed a little bit longer. I got a visa, but not a working visa. I was legal. I was allowed to Canada. I was allowed to be there, and and so yeah, I just the acting in Canada is incredible. The teaching. I went to Jeb Beach, and his school really changed the way I thought about acting. So my initial training in Melbourne was theatre based and improvisation at Peter Sardi's School of Acting. And I was there for 3 years and then I did 1 year at NIDA. And so I'd already had, you know, a fair bit of grounding of my acting. But going and really focusing on film and TV in Canada was incredible. And, you know, just the way they teach. And so I really learned how to act for camera in Canada over that time and was fortunate enough to land a role within my 2 years as well on Untold Stories of the ER, where I played a woman who had a stroke. And yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to let you know that Canada, incredible acting.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get out to Canada next year at some point, depending on where I'm at with my ongoing
Yeah.
treatment at a community home I'm living in. I'm hoping to get out to Canada and see a couple connections I have there and see the wilderness because I'm a big wilderness fan and national parks and all that.
Yes. We were very fortunate in the very end to move to Whistler, which is I know every Australian moves to Whistler, but we were very fortunate to find a beautiful home, and it was on Blackcomb, and which is another mountain in Whistler, and you could leave your apartment or, you know, townhouse, and just literally snowboard down the mountain. And it just blew my mind. But we moved there in fall, and so all the leaves were, you know, coming down, and it was really quiet because no one's there because there's no snow yet. And so we were very fortunate to get a house, and it had a jacuzzi outside, and there was no one there. and no one was like using the facilities. And so as soon as the snow came, but we kind of like really established ourselves there, and we're like, these, you know, this is our place. And so when people started coming, we're like, oh, excuse me, this is ours, you know. But but the wilderness was just incredible, and to watch the seasons change, because we were there from fall to winter to verging nearly into summer. And yeah, just, you know, I would go for runs and come across black bears, and oh, it was just you know, it was scary, but it was also just like mind-boggling, you know. And then deer, gorgeous deer, bunny rabbits, yeah, and just seeing all of nature. It was incredible.
Yeah, you and your partner would love Eldora, a ski resort in my home state of Colorado. My brother was a snowboarder back in his athletic days, and I would occasionally go up there. And while he was having fun snowboarding and all that, I would throw a fit sometimes because I wanted hot cocoa, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, those were fun memories. And you would also like Winter Park, which is another ski resort that's located next to a railroad tunnel known as the Moffat Tunnel. It's a lot of fun in Colorado
Yeah.
ski wise.
Well, I've got something to tell you, Doug. I can't ski. I was only there for the nature. My partner can ski, snowboard, you know, he can surf, like he can do all that. I cannot. I once tried snowboarding and they gave me a lesson, and the instructor came up to me and was like, Lara, you are too hesitant. And I'm like, I had fallen over the night before on black ice. So, you know, it's just really slippery, and I had cracked my head. But then I was like, oh, I've already paid for the lessons. So I'd had concussion. So that's why I was being hesitant. But ever since, I'm terrified. So I lived in Whistler during winter. And, you know, anyone watching this is going to be like, I can't believe she did not ski or snowboard when she was there. But I didn't. I just walked. I just walked in snow. That's all I did. I touched snow. I walked in snow. That's all I could do. I really should have done a lesson, but I don't know. I'm coordinated. You know, I've got my ballet background, but
Yeah,
snow just seems scary.
I can't blame you. I wasn't really into snowboarding and skiing either, but my best friend is into skiing and is very experienced with it. I actually went with him to Winter Park one time many years ago to see him perform. And what I remember about it, aside from him spanking it very good, was I went into a nearby restroom to take a leak. And guess what I saw? The bathroom was really, really dirty, full of like, there were three eggs, you know, on the ground, and that were like broken, and there were stains all over the wall.
Oh,
And the toilets were filthy. As it was just,
yeah.
I must have come in there on a day where they were preparing to sort of cleanse and
They hadn't cleaned
sterilize
it.
it. But I just remember walking immediately out of the restroom. And today I'm thinking to myself, I sure hope Gordon Ramsay didn't see that.
Gee, that's all we have for Relentless and Unstoppable. So tune into the next episode to hear more amazing stories from amazing guests. This is Keith Scott from Sydney, Australia, saying so long, and I'm smarter than the average bear. Gee.